My Uber driver recognized me from a missing persons poster, but I've never been reported missing. I was heading to my job at the marketing firm on Tuesday morning when my Uber driver Marcus kept staring at me in the rearview mirror. After 5 minutes of increasingly awkward silence, he finally asked if my name was Sarah. I said yes, wondering how a random stranger knew my name. He pulled out his phone at a red light and showed me a missing person poster with my exact face on it. Same brown hair, same green eyes, same tiny scar on my chin from falling off my bike at age 8 when the training wheels got caught. But the name underneath the photo said Sarah Mitchell, not Sarah Davis like it should have been. This has been posted all over downtown for 3 weeks, Marcus said, his voice uncertain. The family's offering a $10,000 reward. I was about to call the number when I picked you up. I stared at the poster on his phone screen, my stomach dropping to my feet. That was definitely my face, taken from an angle I didn't remember posing for, but I'd never been reported missing by anyone in my entire life. I'd been going to work every day, texting my mom every evening, hanging out with my roommate Emma on weekends. Nobody was looking for me because I wasn't lost. I asked Marcus where exactly he'd seen these posters. He said they were everywhere around the city, taped to coffee shop windows, stuck to bus stop shelters, posted at grocery store entrances. The family had apparently hired private investigators and was desperate to find their missing daughter. I took a screenshot of the poster and spent the rest of the 10-minute ride trying to make sense of what I was seeing. My hands were shaking as I typed the phone number into my contacts. At work, I immediately called the number from the poster, expecting maybe a wrong number or some kind of mistake. A woman answered on the first ring, her voice desperate and hopeful in a way that made my chest tight. "Did you find her? Did you find my daughter?" she asked before I could even speak. I carefully explained that I was Sarah and wasn't actually missing. I'd been living my normal life in Portland this whole time. There was a long, heavy pause on the line. Then she said that was completely impossible. Her daughter Sarah had been missing for 3 weeks. She'd vanished from their house on the east side without leaving any trace behind. "That's where I live too," I said, feeling more confused by the second. "I've been here the whole time. I think there might be some kind of mix-up with the photos." The woman, who said her name was Linda Mitchell, insisted I come to the police station immediately to sort this out. She sounded so absolutely convinced that I started questioning my own memory. Had I somehow forgotten being missing? I called my mom to double-check that I'd been texting her regularly, like always. She confirmed we'd talked every few days, normal conversations about work and family gossip. I called Emma, who confirmed I'd been sleeping in my own bed every single night for the past month. But Linda Mitchell was equally convinced her daughter had vanished completely. The police station was downtown, and I recognized the missing person posters immediately plastered on every bulletin board. My face was everywhere I looked, but with this other woman's last name printed underneath. Detective Rodriguez looked genuinely puzzled when I explained the bizarre situation to him. He called Linda Mitchell back, and she arrived within 20 minutes, practically running through the station doors. When she saw me sitting in the lobby chair, her face went completely white and she started crying uncontrollably. She kept saying, "That's my daughter," over and over while staring at me, but she also seemed terrified rather than relieved. "You look exactly like her," she whispered, her voice shaking. "But you're not her. Sarah would never dress like that. Sarah would never cut her hair that short. Sarah hates that color green." Detective Rodriguez took several photos of me standing next to the missing person poster. The resemblance was impossible to ignore or explain away, but he seemed more puzzled than suspicious. He asked if I had any siblings or any family in Portland I didn't know about. I told him no, that my parents had always said I was an only child. But Linda Mitchell's expression changed dramatically when she heard that, and she asked the detective if she could speak to him privately for a moment. They talked in hushed, urgent voices for 10 minutes while I sat in the waiting area, staring at my reflection in the window and trying to understand what was happening. When they came back, Detective Rodriguez had this strange, careful look on his face. "Sarah," he said slowly, "we need to ask you some questions about your birth certificate and any adoption records your parents might have." That's when I realized I'd never seen my birth certificate, and my parents had always been strangely vague about my early childhood and where exactly I came from. And that's when I discovered the truth about why there were two of us.